All right, so I'm here and Jeff asked the question everybody asked. What's it weigh? I said, I don't know. A lot of people ask that. He said, we have scales, you idiot. Well, he didn't say that, but. So we put it on the scales. I'm gonna do like guesses, drum rolls, any idea, and at the end of the video, I'll let you guys know what it weighed. Or you can be lame and skip ahead and cheat. It's up to you. Either way, I'm here to party. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's more than you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Guess you'll have to guess and see. Anyway. Do 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 do.
To some losses through the process had me furious, but I got eyes on the vision, can't get delirious. Fall in love with the game and then you marry it. I think I married it. This the anthem. If you rockin' with it, put your hands up. Yeah, this the anthem. If you get up and get it, put your hands up.
Oh, what's up, freaks? So yes, how did we get to this point? Well, I guess this is gonna involve a little bit of a story time. Now, admittedly, this is not gonna be my favorite type of video to make because I didn't film any of the trials or tribulations to get here. But I also feel like you need to know some of them. Why? Because just to show you what it actually takes to get here. I've had nights where I cried, I laughed, get out my jacket. The one with straps, bro. Yeah, I was going crazy because you know what I heard a lot? That don't make sense. Everything works, but it's not doing the thing. So anyway, without too much talking and maybe a picture or two, I'm gonna try to show you all the trials and tribulations that we did face to get here, just so you understand it's not as black as white as you may think, and it's gonna take way more time, way more effort than you could imagine to get to where you wanna be, but I promise you, the result is worth it. So I'm gonna take you back to when I'm getting ready for sick week. I'm packing my bags here at the shop, making sure we got everything to go film and edit videos. And I'm looking at my car and I'm like, while I have a minute, the wiring harness is all the way installed. Let's make sure that it does the things. Now keep in mind, I've never wired a car before and I'm gonna show you something I learned. It's obvious to those who know, but your boy did not know, and it caused my first mishap. So now I was doing my absolute best to label the wires and label the connectors by essentially drawing a picture where you could see the clip part of the connector, and I would like write what the wire was in that spot. Thought it was slick. And then if I had to, on the same color wires, I was taking a Sharpie and doing dashes on them, and the number of dashes was the number in the connector. Later on, as I'm wiring, I start to learn that these Deutsch connectors already have numbers. If you didn't know that, now you do. Let me see if I can show you that. Bam. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I figured that out after I had already started labeling my own wires and essentially knew that I put them in the other connector wrong, but put them in this connector right, and thought I would remember that. I did not. So my blinker was my headlight was my blinker. This is the first mishap. Again, not a big one, but a mishap nonetheless. Easy to sort out. So I did just that. Took the power probe. Boom, this is a blinker, this is a headlight. Swapped the wires around, labeled them correctly on my chart. Voila, easy money. This takes me to my second mishap. I had the water pump and the radiator fan switched. Not a huge deal, it's just 2 power wires that go in the bulkhead. Again, just took the probe and started testing the wires. After I tested the wires, I put them in the correct spots. Simple. But I just realized I skipped a very important step. Because before I got to the headlights and the fan issues, I actually had nothing coming out of the fuse box, 0 power. And I'm like, what in tarnation is going on? I had keypad power somehow, I had this power, but I did not have power to anything that went through the fuse box itself. After some troubleshooting and again, verifying the pinouts and everything was right, and actually honestly going back to old videos that I took of connectors before I took them apart just to verify, I realized that on the CAN bus, because the CAN bus has a power wire, that is where the fuse box gets all its power. I again did one of those flipperoonies where, oh, the pin is here to get power, but for some reason I looked at it from the front of the connector and put it in that same spot, which was the wrong spot. Found that out, flipped the wire, got to the point where I just told you about. So now I have headlights, I have all this stuff. Again, keep in mind, I was packing for sick week, they were packing the trailer, and I had no intention of starting the car. But now that I know I have power everywhere, now that I know my headlights work, now that I know my radiator and everything else is going good, how do you not press the daggum start button, right? So while setting up in a little ball over on that side of the car, of course I do exactly what I said, and I'm like, I have to know if the car will do the thing. For shank! Press that son of a gun. Ba-ba-ba-bum, wah-ba-ba-ba-bum! But it was more like, it didn't do the thing like it was supposed to do, but it did start. So I'm pretty fired up, right? Why is it doing the thing, and what did it sound like? Next problems. Okay, so I did it again. This is the problem with story time. You kind of forget some things. Before I actually had power, you have to hook up the daggum battery. So I grabbed my beautiful Detroit battery, 16-volt battery, and I go to start tightening the wire down, and I hear a snap, crackle, pop, and then see a pa-cha! Dadgummit. I don't know what they're called. I'm calling them insulators. I don't know what they are. I broke the plastic thing that protects the thing from touching the things, and, well, ultimately it touched the things. And so I did what any man would do, because I want to see that I have, functioning stuff. I just took the wire from the battery, bolted it to the wire that I need to hook it up to, put an insulator around it so that it can't touch anything, so that I can use it in the meantime. And I also want to mention that I messaged Chris immediately, and I'm like, hey, brother, I did it again. Messed up the battery. He said, send it to me, we'll get you squared away. I'm talking about this dude had that thing squared away in like 2 days and sent back to me. Also, I got rad locks this time. That way I'm not tightening wires and loosening wires. If you don't know what rad locks are, you should check them out. They are, in fact, the barn cat's pajamas. I don't know how we ever operated without them. The only downfall is they're not reusable, but other than that, they're frickin' amazeballs. So I'll go ahead and show you one real quick so you know what it is. So if you look down in this hole, this one is for my starter. That is a rad lock. They are, in fact, like I said, the barn cat's pajamas. So like I said, we are, in fact, doing some skipping around. I'm not trying to do it intentionally, but I'm trying to film in order that I remember it so that this kind of flows, which it's not going to because it doesn't make sense because I didn't film half of it. But anyway, so we're starting the car. Something is wrong, right? We get back from sick week. Now keep in mind, I didn't need this to have the car move forward. But we were running a 6466 Gen 2 Precision Turbo. Amazing turbo. But we have some pretty lofty goals for the season, and we wanted to up the turbo just a little bit. And guess who was at sick week? The guys from Precision Turbo. So yeah, Wes, Chris, and Jesse, I appreciate the crap out of you guys. Like, our relationship is amazing, and I can't thank you enough. And we talked about what we wanted to do and how we were going to move forward, and tell you what, by the time that week ended, the same time I got my battery and the same time I got something else, which I can't remember because so much was happening, this box shows up. And it is a next-gen 6870 ball bearing turbo. There are so many things that happen in this life that I can't explain, and I wish I could because I want everybody to work very hard for their dreams. And I worked very hard for mine, and when this showed up, I didn't know I'd own one, you know what I mean? As corny as that probably sounds, because, money can buy anything. Well, can it? Can it buy happiness? Can it buy health? No, right? Can it buy memories? Can it buy relationships? No, right? I've built a lot of relationships in the automotive world that a guy dreamed about. I dreamed about for years, and here we are. And I'm daggone proud to partner up with Precision. And as a matter of fact, we're going to TX2K with them again. I'm going to be hanging out in the booth, and I'm going to be the mean clown at the fair who talks crap to people. And basically, just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to the guys, and thank you to everybody who supports my journey, because it means the world to me, and I work very hard for it. So anyway, we get the 6870 turbo. I did want this before we went on the dyno, but I didn't need it to verify the car running. Just a cool little fact that y'all needed to know. Whee! Now, I don't know that I have any footage of this, but picture Nick Deal standing right here. I'm over there. We're testing for continuity between everything and just verifying, because the car worked before it was wired. That is a fact. One can only assume that the problem would be the guy who wired the car. Again, I've made some mistakes already. I'm never afraid to make mistakes because I go all in and I try with all my heart, and I'm a very passionate individual, and I always believe I can find the answer. So the entire time I'm like, what did I do wrong? So we start very simple. I made pinout sheets. We're checking the pinout sheets. Okay, this has to be this. Well, Nick starts adding fuel, and he's like, that's weird. It's running. It's running terribly still, and it's obvious. Why is it running with fuel? And the car's starting, it's just running like crap. Well, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember exactly what we looked at or in the log or whatever, but a crank trigger error kept popping up, and we noticed it was not syncing with home. Home is the cam sensor. So we start testing the cam sensor. We test all the wires to the cam sensor. Everything's checking out. It's got power, it's got ground. Everything is doing the thing. Still couldn't make it out. Again, now we got the car running with extra fuel because the cam sensor cannot tell the car when to shoot fuel. So we are just getting it to run on hopes and prayers, essentially. This is not the fix, but we know that it's the problem, right? Once you know the problem, you start seeking the daggum solution. So let's dive into that.
Gasoline in your fuel. So it would actually be the other direction.
Oh.
Did you put one ethanol R in here?
No.
Okay.
I went to Speedway and got E85. So when it comes to a problem like that, you do all the obvious things. You get out the voltmeter, you test for continuity, you're checking for everything. Tyler Hassing essentially said, pull the signal wire. See if something's interfering with the signal. Well, what I did is I took an entirely different connector, hooked it up to a cam sensor, completely separate from my wiring, verified how it worked, saw the drop, okay, cool. Came over here and went to essentially do the same thing with the same cam sensor, but through my connector, and it did not do the stuff. Well, I disconnected the signal wire like recommended, and noticed that it in fact did do a voltage drop when I hooked up a pin to the signal wire. Now we are diagnosing down to the fact that my signal wire is the problem. So I think I'm clever, and I just want to verify, and I run a jump wire from the ECU to the connector itself, and voila. Car starts right up. It's showing up on the oscilloscope. Everything's dialed. Dave's revving the car. We're great. Until it becomes race car. So I'm about to insert one of those clips that just make it not make sense, at least for me, because again, it has signal. It's doing everything it should. Dave was revving the car up. Everything was fine. I go to take a video of it, and I rev the car up, let go, and it dies. And when it dies, it will not start again. At it. We're getting somewhere until we weren't. I have a theory. I don't know if it's worth a fuck. This is with the jump wire, not the old signal wire, not the problem we know is the problem. So essentially at this point, now I'm lost in the sauce in my head, and people will tell you I'm an overthinker. If I don't understand it, I overthink it. I started black and whiting it. I'm like, dude, if the sensor's out of the car, it does the stuff. When it doesn't have the signal wire hooked up in here, it does the stuff. But the jump wire is the variable that doesn't make it make sense. It worked until it didn't. Why? I still don't have the answer to that. I got so daggum frustrated that I knew I was new to shielding wire. And on the interior harness, that was the first one I did. I'm like, maybe I made a mistake. Well, I did find 3 mistakes. Well, 2.5 mistakes, because one mistake's the same mistake. So we're going to go with 2 mistakes so I feel cooler, and we're going to narrow it down. So imagine, this is the signal wire coming out of the shielded cable. You need that. Well, when I did this half-barrel splice, I had just started wiring. I did it very terribly, and I did it very sharp. If you can see how sharp it is, not ideal. Well, if you see right here, there's a bare spot. The way I had this all set up, somehow, some way, I don't recall exactly, but that was pushing into that. Now, was that the problem? Yes. Also, on top of that, 2 of these strands, and yes, I mean 2, literally 2 strands, was also in the bulkhead attached to the connector area. I don't know which one was the smoking gun. To me, it seems like the half-barrel slice pushed into the wire is the obvious one. I don't know because I took this apart and I taped this area. I still had those shielding cables in there. It did not work, so I took those out and it still, to me, didn't work, which, again, doesn't make sense. Now, I'm starting to get ticked off, not at anybody but myself. I'm like, okay, I made a mistake. I was new to this. What is the solution? I chose to go from the bulkhead to the ECU with all new shielded cable and new wiring. I finally go to start the car up. It's still running like crap, but it does start every time. Again, which one was the smoking gun? I don't know, because the jump wire worked and didn't work, and then this worked and didn't work, and they all didn't work and they worked. So I'm assuming it's just a combination of race car. That's all I got. I know they were both problems. Neither one of them were good. So you tell me. I don't really know, and I don't really care, because now the car's doing the stuff and things, and once we took the fuel back out of it, the car started running tip-top. I am having a bit of an emotional moment when I hear the car fire up and take the fuel out and it's running like it's supposed to, because, like I said, at this point, it was cold out and I wanted a jacket, but it had nothing to do with cold. I wanted straps. I was fighting tooth and nail to get here, and that's what it takes. And I'm not gonna lie to you about how easy or hard it is to get there. For me, it was daggum hard, because everybody just kept saying it don't make sense. Well, I checked the wiring, I checked the wiring, I checked the wiring, but I didn't check for this. Check the pinouts. Sometimes it's thinking outside the box and just triple checking yourself. I love learning. And I'll tell you this car having these issues was probably one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me, because I've dove into the Haltech system. I've dove into the wiring harness. I've dove into the engine. I'm starting to understand sensors. I'm starting to understand how tuning works and why you set up sensors the way you do. And there is no testimony without some tests. So it's all about how you look at it. And I did my best to every day leave fresh-minded and come back and try to find something new. And each day I did just that, and eventually we came to the problem. Also in the interim, I ran new breather tubes off of the valve cover, and I had them down there. And I don't know that it's the move, but it's the move I'm gonna make, because the Deal brothers run theirs up. And that way, the fumes have no choice but to go one way or the other after everything is said and done. So I'm trying to have this as level as possible, and then I'm gonna run this up the A pillar, down the C pillar, and then down to the catch can, well, puke tank rather. And that also was new. I love the location. I think it's a clean setup, and I think it's going to do the stuff. Again, like everything else, it's fun to theorize, but here we are. Sometimes you need a lesson in how to be a man. Ryan is showing me how to be a man. Don't fucking look at us. Look at the fucking thing, dude. All right, what's up, freaks? I figured real quick I should do some updates. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been doing much. I don't know if I've really been feeling like it. Going through one of those like growth curves where I'm trying to see what I want, and I've been trying to like do it without influence. And I'm probably gonna be doing it a lot more, but one thing I genuinely miss doing is making videos for myself and the progress of the car. And I have a lot going on, so it only makes sense to keep doing that. Well, anyway, I'm gonna flip this around and show you what I got going on. So what I used to have is these lines going right down here to this bulkhead down there. It was bolted in, but that's not where the ECU is. I want to move it up here because I love the way that the Deal brothers have theirs set up. So essentially it's all high, meaning it has a high slope. So the stuff that's inside the hose is either going to go to the catch can or back to the engine. And we did a lot of debating on the back to the engine part, but you're going to be doing oil changes anyway. So essentially, that's the better option in my head. Because when I had it down there, it was essentially a catch, and then it goes down to a catch on the floor. Eventually, you're going to need a drain down there, and it just kind of defeats the purpose to me. I was being really weird about wanting to put more holes in here than I needed. I didn't want to screw it, bolt it, whatever. So I also had this fitting with the 1 1/4 adapter that went to a 12 AN. So I had a 12 AN adapter off of this. So that went like that. Then this went to the 12 AN adapter. So that could then go to the 1 1/4 hose. I don't know. It just seemed like a whole lot of mess to me. We're switching that all up. We're going to have little clips that can go on this. This is going to go through there. It's going to have one attachment. This Johnny's going to be welded on there because I have access to HF. So grateful for that. And for a cleaner install, I wanted a bulkhead on the firewall for what you might ask? Well, the vacuum pump. So this comes off the brake booster, goes to the firewall, and the vacuum pump is inside the car, and there is the bulkhead on the other side. And one of my favorite things to do is help people out who help me. And somebody who has helped me out endlessly on this build and getting to where we're at is Curtis over at Boosted Fabrication, and he is my guy. So he is doing something that the community has been trying to figure out for a while, and he's coming up with new timing covers. I am the test dummy for y'all. I am trying to see if they work. So far, I've had the car at operating temp at idle with the hood down. Everything seems fine. Of course, he wants me to be driving it. I'm excited that it's working flawlessly. He, of course, wants to be careful and make sure the testing is done properly, so I'm doing my very best and trying to put it in different circumstances and different instances. So I'm going to take the car out for a drive today to verify how it does under load and under driving conditions. And ultimately, everything goes well there, which so far I'm hella confident that everything's going to go well there. I'm going to be able to test it on the dyno. And of course, dyno's going to put it through some extreme heat, and that will be the ultimate test. So far, I got good news. Everything's rocking. Curtis, thank you for coming up with this and doing this for the community. It's something we've needed for a long time, and so far the results are fantastic. So while the checklist is, of course, shrinking and we are getting things done, there are still some things that need to be done. And a lot of them have to do with the drag and drive stuff because it's not the priority. That's not until June. I just want the car to function and operate as it should and get on the dyno. That is the main goal. So everything that has to be done to get that to happen is the priority right now. One thing I'm not looking forward to doing, just because I think aesthetically the car looks so great, is I got to figure out a hole in the bumper for the daggum turbo. It doesn't make sense to have it covered, daggum it. But it's going to be worth it because going fast is fun. Definitely pig rich, but all right, so you guys ready? After the drum roll, here's what it boiled down to. I'm gonna flip it around so you can actually see the numbers, not backwards. We'll see how that works. So is it more or less than you thought? Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about that. Boom. I feel like people had me thinking, honestly, tin can, mostly gutted. I have put some stuff back into it, but like,
I'm not surprised. I don't think it's overly heavy, honestly, for what it is, because it's still a full steel
right
unibody structure with a cage in it. Yeah, you've got some carbon parts on it, but I think 24 is pretty good.
What did their Mustang weigh? Didn't it weigh like the same? I know it's,
I bet it's close.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, there's a Pro Mod. There's a roll cage. I'm talking shit. It's not, but.
Yeah. But no,
So it's close to what you thought?
I would have guessed around 26, 24 to 26. So
Okay.
It's right there.
It's not exactly drag and drive trim, but I did put an extra radiator in it. It does have a full tank of gas right now. It does have full nitrous bottle, full CO2, full
No, so
fluids.
This is what you're going to be pulling up
Right.
the line with.
Yep.
This is, you're going to be rolling up the line at, call it 2,500 pounds plus yourself. So now
What do you think the car weighs?
This one?
You cheated. You heard what he said.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, what do you think it weighs?
Say 26, 27.
Driver or no driver?
With driver.
All right, cheater. That's
Why would you say?
Huh? I didn't say anything. I would have figured 24 to 26.
Oh, really? Oh,
whatever. Cheated.
No.
I'm still saying he cheated.
so I was close.
Whatever.
26, 27.
We're not talking to the cheater.
Get in the car.
That's what it's gonna weigh. I'm 200 pounds, so.
Well, get in the car. I want to see exactly what it weighs.
Oh golly. Oh boy.
26.86.
All right.
I was pretty close.
It helps your, well, it's obviously heavier on the right now, but not by, it's still that 40 pounds. The 40 pounds shifted to the driver's side.
Okay.
So
So that's about right.
it's dead even across the back, 483, 485.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I'm glad we did it because now we know. Because, dude, so everybody, what's it weigh? What's it weigh? I'm like, bro, it weighs, it runs. Right. Lighter than it was, heavier than it wasn't.